Great to climb. No problem going up. But they're kind of hard going the other way. Okay. I'm going to break this video into two pieces because it's, how long is it? It's 33 minutes and a half right now, and I think 32 is the longest that loads easy on YouTube. Anyway, Texas Filipino put up his original plan, and I thought somebody might enjoy seeing another alternate that wasn't going to be built. But if anybody likes anything about this plan or the whole plan or anything concept, anything you want to pull from it, feel free. It's no charge. So if you want to build a Decagon house, all the dimensions are in our videos. You can build one of them. If the house is too big or too small, you can scale them up and scale them down. The Decagon house is a little different in that this house has like all 42-inch wide doors. It's still good for wheelchair access, but the Decagon house has 42 and 48. The reason for the 48 is that's what it takes to get the cement mixture inside to store it. And the width on the handlebars on the motorcycle, there's not a problem getting it through 42 inches, but not at road speed. If you want to walk it through with your feet down, walking along the floor, yeah, it'll go through there. You won't hurt yourself. If you snag a handlebar on a motorcycle, that thing's going down. It's going to throw you down between the door jamb and the motorcycle. You're not going to get out of there by yourself. So anyway, we made wider doors on the Decagon house. Also, anything you can make an poured concrete house, any hole you put in it takes less concrete. And early on, you're spending all your money on sand, gravel, and concrete cement mix, Portland cement, and rebar. And none of those go in the hole. They only go in the part of the wall that's left when you take the forms down. So we carried it away a little bit. We put a window in the kitchen to the living room. And we put a window between the master bath and the master bedroom. Both of those are 5 feet diameter. We added another door to the kitchen, saved about 9 or 10 cubic feet. Two bags of the mixer, 2 runs on the mixer for one door. And I think that's the only places we have extra windows. We might have one between the laundry room and the master bedroom. I'm not sure. I know we were going, no, wait a minute, I know what happened there. We were going to have straight stairs in that room. And the idea was that being at the difference in the floor heights is 10 feet, 1 5/32 of an inch. You only need about 6'8" for a door. So you were way below the beam, the concrete beam, upper tie beams. If you put a stairs up along that wall, you weren't even close to the bottom of the stairs to walk through to the room. And that's what it was supposed to be. And back in the day, I was a little bit involved in the build, and I told them, okay, it takes 4 of these 4-foot forms and a 32-inch form for this wall. And they put a door in the door, a buck in the 4-foot panel on the end. Well, what I ended up with was the door in the second panel from the end, and the wrong end of the wall. So when you come down the stairs, the bottom of the stairs, what in the world? We're on tour. I can't even find the pointer. Oh, here it is, down here. When you come down to the bottom of the stairs, the end of the stairs is halfway across the door. And that doesn't work. And I use code stairs. I can't just up and change the run of the stairs to suit the other screw up. So we put the the helical stairs in that room, which were supposed to be outside of the living room, out on the outside of the building with a glass wall enclosure. We may still put another set over there, but I think I need a set of straight stairs up. I got a video on how to design stairs, and basically, you make your run and rise add up to 17.5 by code, and run times rise is between 62 and 80. Run number times rise number. I elect for the 2-inch toe kick. That's how much the tread goes up underneath of the tread above it. They're real climbable. A spiral staircase is the worst, or the circular staircase around a pipe is the worst, because you get a real wide tread on the outside and you virtually have no tread. It's like 2 inches wide on the inside. So you can tippy toe up the inside if you had to, and you can climb the outside because the treads are 14 inches wide. But when you come back down, you can only come down on the outside, because all you got is half of your heel on a tread. You know, if you run the back of your shoes right down over a tread to whatever you can get a hold of, you haven't got a balance point. So spiral stairs are crap. The helical stairs that we put in this house, they're 7 inches with tread on the narrow end, and they're still 14.5 on the outer end, because the outer end is what you calculate the run times rise and run plus rise. Anyway, where would you get onto that from? Well, if you like anything about any one of these houses, feel free to copy. Feel free to copy and change. Feel free to leave out doors. But the more doors you leave out, less material it takes. And in the early part of the build, when you're trying to get the basic structure up, you really want to get it up as quick as you can to get a roof on it. And with as little materials, because you buy these houses over here by the cubic foot. It's a 3D project. The less cubic feet you have, the less it costs you. Exactly linear, right? So if you want to get up and get a roof on it, put a lot of doors. You can fill them in later. You can put hollow blocks in there and plaster over them. You can put a door back up. But cutting a door out of a poured concrete building, now that's a different story. You want to avoid that all you can. Oh, the columns on this one we're looking at, every 6 feet you don't put a poured concrete post in there. That's where your electrical conduit comes down for light switches and wall outlets. You got gracious of plenty of columns. It's just 5 times as many as you need. Leave one out any place you like. But that's just a way to get wiring down in there. You could put the conduit in as you build the wall, and that would work. But it means you're lifting blocks over top of it. Or you could leave that one column out, put your conduit in, and then pour the concrete in it. You can do that too. Just shake the conduit to make the concrete settle. The Decagon House, all the concrete's in the walls. Conduit. And all the septic lines, the gray water and black water are all in concrete. So if the pipe was taken away, we still have a passage. It was pretty slick. What we did there is we stacked up any leftover lumber we had, either cocoa lumber or phenolic board, plywood. We made a block that was an inch bigger all the way around than whatever bunch of outlet boxes was going in that hole. And we had some speed bore drill bits, the flat drill bits. We just punched a hole out big enough that we could drop a piece of 3/4 inch conduit in. And then we knocked a nail through our little placeholder block and through the conduit. And that kept the conduit from coming out. And then somebody would just dangle it in there. And that would be Boyette. And then usually Boy or Benji or somebody, they'd run a screw into it from the outside to keep the block against the form. And when you're taking your forms off, you have probably 20 screws in a wall, because most of it was just 1/2-inch bolts. But you take those screws out, and when the form comes off, then you have that piece of wood to get rid of. If you've got red ants nearby, just get a shovel full of them. Put them near the wall. They'll eat it. That's how we got the forms out from the helical stairs, the ones that were trapped underneath of it. I brought a shovel full of ants in the house. When I got done with the wall, we cleaned them up with a shop vac, took them back and put them back in their house. Of course, a lot of them didn't survive. They don't live long enough to wait for the wood to rot and eat it. So we had to get ants maybe 2 or 3 times, I guess. But the last ones that was finishing up, we sucked them up and carried them back home. The ones that died, they took them back by themselves, I guess. But that's how we got a lot of the wood. And the other ones, we just took a speed bore bit and punched a few holes in it. And then a piece of 16 rebar and, ripped and tear a little bit. Bjarne really liked doing that. Boy had too. The ceiling boxes were done the same way. All the ceilings have boxes all around on them. And they knocked them out of that entire building in, I was thinking, a day and a half, something like that. Didn't take them long. Oh. Where are we? Okay, so that doesn't work. It's supposed to work. I think it's because of the gimbal. You can turn the gimbal around, but when you turn it around, you can't see what your picture is, if you have one. My wife tells me we're supposed to be holding a selfie stick, looking into a camera. That people care what we look like? Don't think so. Who cares what an 80-year-old guy looks like? And we'll come back around here. Oh, it's level. I'm all done, and now it's level. What a bunch of crap. I'd like to capitalize on that if I could just think of something I wanted to look at. Those are all facing the same way. I'm not sure which of these we looked at. I'm kind of think we looked at that because I remember seeing the front door was down here. And this over here is the like fire escape door on the back. So the one we didn't look at as close is this one. And that is showing the fire escape door. And I don't know why some of these doors are square. Oh, wait a minute. Yeah, I do too. No? I was thinking that the doorways that had doors in them, like to close off a bedroom, like at night where you actually want to have a real door, it'd be easier to buy rectangular doors. Where these round top ones, a lot of those are just archways. So obviously your bathrooms are going to have square doors. Your bedrooms are going to have square doors. But if it's just an arch going through to a different part of the house, like through between the kitchen and the living room or something, then you can have the round topped arch doors. I think that's something along those lines. Like I say, I haven't looked at this since 2014. And the only reason I'm putting it up is because Texas Filipino did a castle for his first try at his design. And he thought it was too ostentatious to build. I don't know. Well, maybe for him, but if I'd had that floor plan, I think I probably would have built it. But, build what you want. That's the nice thing about being over here. You see these people like on Grand Designs New Zealand. That's the YouTube channel. They have these beautiful houses, a lot of glass in them, Not as much glass as Skypod over in Cebu. That's a nice house to look at too, Skypod. Chrissy, somebody owns that, and her husband is, I think he's Chinese. I can't think of his name right offhand. He's the architect that designed it. It's got a lot of glass, and a lot of really high glass too. Swimming pool, the house is sort of U-shaped, and it's got, and the U has got like a lap pool, a big lap pool. It's a swimming pool this long. Nice scenery, you know. It's built out of those aircrete blocks that haven't got any holes in them. They're really light. You can cut them with a handsaw. They're extremely strong. If you want to see somebody putting them up, Farang. Farang. It's a house being built in Thailand. Farang. Isan and Farang. Isan is the town in Thailand that they're in. And Farang is what they call foreigners. Dead foreigners, I think it translates to dead foreigner. But anyway, he named his channel for that. And they built their house out of those blocks. And they go up amazingly quick. They don't have what we would call mortar in them. The blocks are absolutely on size. They're sharp-edged and completely flat. All the planes are flat. You hardly need a string to put them up. They put them up, it looks like something like skim coat, like gray skim coat. They also have a bonding adhesive you can put up, self-leveling floor compound. Put them together with a lot of different things. You can put them together with cement and sand mixture, but it's got to be really thin. When they're done, you can't hardly see the joints. You can see them, but you can't hardly feel them. Let's put it that way. And they router in the channels for the wiring and stuff, same as they do with hollow blocks in the Philippines. But that's a nice looking house. I'm not real up on his floor plan, but it's his floor plan. He can have it any way he wants. And what I was saying, if you go to this Grand Design New Zealand, these people wait anywhere from a minimum of 3 months to years, like 3 years, to get the plans department to approve their architectural plans. And by the time they do that, all the materials are gone up 15 or 20%. The bank loan doesn't go up. They offered to fund a build of a certain size, but by the time it goes through the planning commission, now the house costs a third more. They can't get a loan to build it. And every one of them is stressed out financially while they try to build their house. That's just not right. U.S. is, we have to have building permits in the U.S., but they're not near as bad, you know, as Great Britain, New Zealand, all those English colony countries. They're just terrible. Philippines, you have to have a permit. We passed the 7 sheets in your permit. They're all listed in beginning first videos on this channel. They show you what they are and what's in them and what they look like and whatever. The fire department, we took the plans around before we, our rough sketches around. Just printouts like this off the computer screen, inkjet prints. And we took them around, asked them if they had any objections, and the fire marshal didn't like something about it. Means of egress, I think it was. And he didn't like our hall, which was like 40 inches wide. He wanted it 48 or above. And ended up, we did away with the halls, added that space to the rooms. And so we picked up all that floor area for free, living space floor area, and turned them into CRs for the bedrooms, made them all into ensuite bathrooms. So we took less material because we did away with one wall where the 2 rooms would butt it up instead of having a hall between them. So you got rid of a 24-foot wall and all the materials that would go in it. And then we put door to door around all the rooms. So like it's a decagon, something like a squared off circle, you know. And so that gave us a lot of freedom when we were building it to walk through there and things. We can't ever brick them up. We have to put doors in them. But we had to have that for the fire department. And the electrical schematic, they didn't like our 100 amp electrical service. I put a 100 amp service because we've been living for several years in the Philippines on a 50 amp fuse. One 50 amp fuse. So we're going to add a refrigerator to the one we got already. And the rest of it, we're not going to use any more electricity than we ever did. There's only 2 of us in that big house. Anyway, they wanted it up to 175. Our had bought 200 amp breaker boxes. 2 of them, so I got enough breakers that I haven't got to have everything strung together like Christmas lights. I don't want any connections out in the walls. I want them in big boxes with terminal strips or run right off of the breaker. Don't want any wire nuts in the house any place. No wires twisted, tape wrapped around them. We're not having it. I don't care what they say. So we had to pay 5,500 pesos to the guy that was going to sign the electrical permit for him to redraw it. I keep hearing that they did the drawing and they handed it to our agent. And we went back to get a copy of it, and they said they didn't have a copy, and they didn't have the original, and it was expired because by the time we got around to requesting an electrical service, it had been more than a year. Nobody builds a house that big in a year. Anyway, they made us pay for him to do another electrical permit. I'll guarantee you I never got a drawing for that one. And then we ran into trouble with, they wanted the house completely wired with all the cover plates and ready to just flip the switch before they'd even inspect the wiring. That was several years ago. I didn't even talk to them last year. I never went over there. I think we're just going to go solar panels. We've got a wind turbine designed, and I'd kind of like to build that too. I've taken all the errors from wind turbines and did away with them. And it turns out that we're not going to be making 250 watts. We're going to make 13,000 watts. It's a little bit overkill, but it doesn't really scale down all that easy. So I think I'll just build it that way. It's not that much materials. Okay, what do we got here for time? No, we've got plenty of time. But we can cut it off here anyway. So y'all have a really nice day. And if you like this with the Decagon House, feel free to scale them up, scale them down, copy them as is. And I'd encourage you to look at either our videos or Texas Filipinos videos on slip form walls. It is the cheapest way to build a house. Bar none. There is one slightly cheaper one. You can pour your slab floor, put down polyethylene plastic and a perimeter form for a wall, and pour the wall flat. It gets the polyethylene finish on one side and your trowel finish on the other. But you have to have a crane to stand all those pieces up, and you have to join them. They're building row houses all over Manila that way for relocated settlers that when they have to get off of somebody else's property, basically. But if you eliminate that and straw bale houses and a few of those odd things, then the poured concrete slip form is the cheapest way to build a house. We did ours with rigid forms, but we've changed over to slip forms now for all the in-ground tanks, septic tank, cistern, fish pond, and the dirty kitchen. Same forms for all of them. We just keep putting them up. Okay, y'all have a wonderful day. And I know I'm talking to nobody because nobody watches my channel. We don't feel obligated to make a new video every day. I have actually got videos that have 0 views on them. They look like good topics to me. But apparently the world says, nah. Okay, bye.